The views expressed by our guests in the following video are solely the opinions of our guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and or opinions of the Ola 7 podcast show. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Sportlight with Yvonne, Mangunda, and as usual, we like to talk about sporting stories. We bring you sporting personalities to talk about their journey, where they've been, where they come from, and where they see themselves in the future. And like last week, this is an episode dedicated to fans as we talk about what's happening in the Kazolanga Premier Soccer League, because it's the relegation. It's big. It's huge because there's so many teams that are involved. At the same time, we don't know who's going to win the league. But I decided, why not bring into the studio fans like I did last week as well. And this time, I've got from the Highlanders, black and white corner. Introduce yourself, Mama.
Hi everyone, Linjani Mulie Zimbabwe, igama lami nguLindiwe Maphosa, umChina webhoso kaYvonne.
Hi, China.
Yes, ngili China le bhoso. Can't you see my Chinese face?
Unjani abantwana?
Abantwana bayaphila, le muli yaphila, lama Highlanders ayaphila aqinile.
Uhlala ngaphi? Harare or eBulawayo?
Ngihlala eHarare, ngiku Highlanders Harare chapter.
Hey guys, did you see? I tried, eh?
Ngizamile. Yeah, you tried.
Ngizamile.
Yeah, Ngizamile.
And I'm going over to the green corner, the green and white, yeah? Hey. Je sais, it is Emily.
It is Yvonne.
You can introduce yourself.
All right. Inindi nonzi Emily nachaira kana kuti lioness miwe kepe kepe.
Lioness.
Yes.
Magarara sei kumswe santi.
Kangothi mwari taimo yedu izororo. Mari taiti tirare zvedu. Nekuti papa kaoma Yvonne.
Asi pakapinda gobhora rere. Pfungwa dzakauya here dzekuti panodzora vanhu makatoona kuti zvashata.
Isusu takangoziva kuti pakangowana one team inogowesa between Caps neDimbari. Zvavarana.
I think it's the same thing when you're watching it, and for me it was like I made this thing yekuti ndakuzopfeka macolors angu ndakarova green chichi nosvika nguva yekuti ndingongoti do you ever have those moments kana kuti hai mimi munotongomira makatongoti zviripo ndo zviripo tatozvijaira?
Nemachonyero atakaita kuground Yvonne nemajeza enew sponsor yakanzi Green Dona taexpecta win paya atimbodi kunyepa taitoda win paya because tachangobva kupi unveiling ya new sponsor saka taitoda win zvakazoendapo nepamwe but takarwadziwa
akana nenoda ndakarova green dollar rangu chichichiri nhasi. And then in the center, Tambira, I'm not going to put you on any sport. Tambira, you're a person who loves the game and you also like to post about the game. Just give a brief introduction about yourself.
Also, I guess I would just say I'm really a sports addict, any sport to talk of. So yeah, I really love the game, and I mostly have TikToks where I comment on the game and what to expect, and I encourage people to come through to the stadiums and watch the games, because local football is a bit on a low, as in fans, we don't go out there to watch. But Monday, because this is my fans, we make football. If we don't go out to the stadiums, then who's going to support our teams? Who's going to finances, that's how we financially aid our team. So yeah, that's what I'm about making sure that local football is celebrated.
I think you can call this episode Women Also Love Football, because a lot of times we have people thinking there's a variation in the studio. And I firstly want to know, like, I start with you, Lindy. Okay. Like, when did you start supporting football? What happened? Did you just grow up going to the stadium? Was it your parents? Was it you who made a decision? Emma Gumeni, I have to be there.
Okay, it started when I was in preschool. I don't even know. It was around 1980 something, somewhere there. When my grandmother, when she used to pound umumbu kukika machakata, she could sing the Highlanders songs. And I was always asking her, go, ingoma lezi ngezangaphi, and she said no, there is amahlolanyama Highlanders Football Club. And then there was this our relative who Conjera had married one of my distant relatives. And then Gogo used to tell us a lot of stories about Highlanders or Peter Ndlovu and other stuff. So when I started my primary level, I said, no, I want to see this Highlanders Football Club. That's when I started supporting Highlanders Football Club at a tender age till today, and I will die in Highlanders Football Club.
But being Ndebele, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of association between the tribe and the club. Was it something, is it a situation where you don't have a choice? Like you are like Highlanders, it's part of our heritage, it's part of our culture. Is that how you were groomed, or it's the perception we have when you are not from that tribe?
No, Highlanders Football Club, it's itimu yeswelonke. Me, personally, myself, Highlanders, it's part of my culture because my blood is black and white. So anyone can support Highlanders, regardless of your tribe or culture.
But do you feel, would you, maybe because you are Lindy, like, would I could love Highlanders. Like, I really, really like Highlanders and the culture. I love the unity. I love the oneness. Like, I can feel the vibrations, especially when, you know, when BF just roars. You can feel there's something very powerful. But I always ask myself to say, if I was Shona and I wanted to support Highlanders, yes, I will be devoted to the club. But will I not feel like, I don't know, like a guest in your own house?
No, there's nothing like that. We have, I don't even know the percentage of Shona people that we have, and they really like Highlanders. They've adapted into the system. They love Highlanders as it is. Even if we sing, we say it's Shona, they'll be singing.
Because that's what I wanted to ask. Because I like from last season, I started supporting Gwanda Pirates. And I was so devoted to Gwanda Pirates. I would post about it. I would talk about it. And then they had a game against Shabani where there was violence. And then there were these songs that were denigrating Shonas, right? And for me as a Shona person, I feel like something happened to me where all of a sudden I had those blinkers leave to say, I love this club. It's a Gwanda club. But at the same time, there will be moments when you can feel you are Shona in a space that is, I don't know if it's encompassing to Ndebele people. Does it get to that point where you are Shona, you're in the stands, and then the song starts where they're denigrating Shonas?
Yeah, I have noticed that many Shonas who are Highlanders supporters, they just love the vibe. They sing along with us. At times, they start the songs.
Yes, no offense, but I know. No offense, I'm not condoning it. But I mean,
yes.
I mean, because maybe you're in the atmosphere, you don't think too deep about what the lyrics are saying, and you are enjoying the vibe.
Yeah. Mostly those guys who come to support Highlanders, in fact, who support Highlanders wholeheartedly, at the same time they are shown us they really like everything about Highlanders. Same applies with Dynamos.
No, but Highlanders is there's something about Highland. I don't know if you understand. You're a Cape supporter, fine. But like there's something about Highlanders that makes you say, wow. Like especially kana shurukufamba BF yakazara. Yeah. There's something bigger, deeper. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly.
Yeah, you know what, Yvonne? In any one way, Highlanders don't over farther than Vitibari. Highlanders, vanakameka kubatana kavana.
Yeah.
Vakabat. And vakasunga we don't want to do this. Atusunga. Ukona vakuzoita noise, there's something. Chaitika chisingafara. Nini wane Highlanders, I support them. Even though I'm a green-blooded person, but when we Highlanders, vane chisungu chuwa. We don't want to go to the ground. We want to go to the house club. They go there.
And they were the only team that was very successful in saying team boycott. Boycott. Let's not. Highlanders, I said, were boycotting, and they said, and it happened.
Exactly. They really boycott. Well, then when it comes to Zimbabwe, 5% of the people who are on ground, 95% are join us. But according to
Tambira, your take on this, like especially the whole tribe thing. For example, she talks about if you're Dynamos, right, and can a Ndebele person support Dynamos and be okay? Can a Shona person support Highlanders and be okay? Because there are certain times both ways where tribe does come into play, where songs are sang against another tribe.
So I think personally, I can actually really attest or answer to this question because it's experience for me. So for me, my mom is Ndebele and my dad is Shona. My dad grew up in Bari. So by virtue of growing up in Bari, that meant he's like a Dynamos person. But my dad is not really staunch on which team he supports. He's just really an avid football fan as well. So I remember one time, I think I was in grade 3. So Dynamos and Highlanders were playing the Uru Cup now because it was an Independence Cup, and I was in Blawayo because I visited my mom in Blawayo. She stays in Blawayo, so I visited my mom in Blawayo then. So we were watching the game, and I'm 8, and these are some of the reasons why I love football now as an adult. We're watching the game, and I'm seated there. I remember Highlanders won. And everyone was a Highlanders fan. And I didn't even have a team that I supported. But by the virtue that I was the only Shona person in the room, everyone was like, Liviwe. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what even happened? What was happening on TV? I didn't even understand what was happening. I was like, you know, the whole thing. So for me, from then, I was like, okay, so there's this Dynamo stuff, there's this Highlander stuff. And, you know, I'm a Caps fan. And that's the reason why. I just really removed myself from the whole idea that you have to be Shona to support Dynamos. You have to be Ndebele to support Highlanders. But yeah, that's just how it is. And I really think that as fans, we just love football. Like,
but I feel if you're Shona, right? Let's take it to like ordinary everyday stuff. Like you will find Ndebele people, a majority of them, a lot of them speak Shona. So it's easy for them to assimilate into, let's say, a Dynamos or Caps team. Okay. But for most Shona people, they're not willing to learn Ndebele. So would you then be able to understand the culture, the songs, because there are certain aspects of them that are almost cultural, like to a point where maybe if you didn't grow up in Matebele land, or if you didn't grow up in a Ndebele household in Mashona land, you will not understand. I don't know who's taking this one. I think maybe for you, Lindy, we're like, are there not certain aspects where, yes, you might come, you're Shona, you love the team, but there's certain maybe dynamics that you might not deeply understand?
Yeah, it usually happens, but we are so grateful that we have Shona loving people who come to Highlanders, because sometimes the other lady, she's a Shona. We had a party at DJ Dennis Place, and she was saying he was playing this song Noma Senlehlule and Telelen Poison Ngefe, and was saying is Telele Poison is feeling, which means they have that love. You could
there's a song that I was singing, right? This day when I was a BF. And then it's only when I posted it on social media. And then people started saying, who can do this song? The one that has condom somewhere.
Okay. I know the song. Okay.
I think it literally says we're already dead anyway. What?
It says Asilandabala condom Tina says school.
Yes,
you don't care about condoms.
Why
No, it was exciting. It was actually at Trufaro where these Highlanders fans after a game they were walking and they were singing and it was so.
Are you the one who shot a video?
Yes, and then
the front I was
yes, and then I posted it, and people are like, "You what? You know what they're saying?" But I it didn't click. It's only when somebody put the interpretation on TikTok, I'm like, okay.
And I was the one who was leading that crew.
But just to answer her as well. So, you were asking earlier, like how people started supporting the sport and stuff. For me, I think it's genetics because my mom, most women in my family, my maternal family, just really love football. So my mom actually, my stepdad was, what do you call it? He was an Amazulu fan, rather Amazulu, Amazulu player, Gift Banda played for Amazulu. So in terms of the culture that you're talking about, how it is to immerse yourself within the Highlanders and stuff. I remember when I was in, what do you call it? It's called Mziligas. When you live in Mziligas and Highlanders are playing at Barberfields that morning, when you wake up in the morning, even if I didn't live in Mziligas, I would visit my sister, and when his dad played, her dad played for Amazulu. So even if he was going for training, he trained at Barberfields, you would feel like when he's walking from his place to go to Barberfields, the whole vibe of football, you feel it. I've never felt it here. I've never felt it here.
I think Bulawayo is the one city where if it's a Highlanders match day, you can feel it. I've gone so many times where there's Highlanders playing, but I've gone maybe for cricket. But if it's a Highlanders day, you will feel that it's a Highlanders day. So she took me back to I asked Lindy, where obviously she spoke about her story, and I'm getting to you. Shakatanga say she keeps mumuri mama wakurira here ndima make a decision makura here kuti ndoda kusapota team ndoda zvebhora zvakamira say with your story.
All right, inini Yvonne, I think ndichikura during my primary level ndaingofara zvinhu zvegreen and white. Saka baba vangu inini vaisenza ucancel. Saka most of the time anoza kuti kudhara tichakura isusu kuma-80s vanhu vaiinda kunoita zvebhora zvekugadhagadha zvanga vari nonoicancel. Saka I have to go there with my father. Ndaita vabata bhurugu vavasingatode kuti ndiita se ndiende kuona. Saka pandakaona kuti kune team inopfeka green and white, ndakabva ndada Caps nemoyo wangu wese zvokutoti ndine munhu wanombokwenda unosapota Caps, the rest madimbari.
Yo, that's one. At least you had a choice. I didn't have a choice. I grew up, my mom was through and through Caps United. I had no choice. I grew up, and that was the journey. The journey. I can't safely say I made a decision for myself. A decision was made for me. I grew into it. I loved it. It's almost like an arranged marriage where motanga mchingoti ndakangorongerwa utozona but ndomfarira ndakutomuda ndakutomitsira mwana happily ever after.
Pane ndakatomba kutakerwa chikoro kumusha chaipfeka blue and white. Do you know ndakaita wanike nsingaendo chikoro because of the uniform?
You're like, she reminds me of my mom. My mom was like that. Blue for what? I think nowadays people take it lightly. We had a conversation as well with Caps United supporters earlier on the show during the course of the year where they were speaking about that. Like olden days, if you were black and white, if you saw something blue, you're like, If you were green and white, you saw something blue. If you were blue and white, you see green, you're like, Nowadays, as a diluting and Yvonne figure blue and it's no on a KFC and it's not as I think with Dara it was hardcore, hey.
But even today, myself, I can't. I don't even have a blue dish towel in my house. Exactly. Honestly speaking, not even a plastic plate or cup.
No, in my house, no.
I don't do blue. But as a soccer fan, I interact with them.
I think, guys,
personally.
I think it's maybe because I'm a person who was fluid in my allegiance in terms of I personally grew up hating Dynamos. Because I remember when we used to go kubhora kudhara varume vaivene this way kuti vaituka vakadzi vanosapota Caps once vakadzi vemapirits and stuff. So I would be walking with my mom and they'd be like vakadzi vemapirits. So I started hating Dynamos fans. But then an opportunity came to work for Dynamos, and the moment I got that job, honestly 100% my allegiance changed. Right? It's only after I'd left that I remembered but during that time. So I feel like unless an opportunity presents you, it's very difficult to understand it when there is not an opportunity, because if if an opportunity arose today, just like players can move from one club to another. But kana uri fan, 100% fan, I understand the thought yekuti chinje blue, never.
I wanted to comment on like your move to Dynamos, like what you just explained earlier. I think from a fan perspective, at Tingambos Tambire, we don't like. For me, it's plastic. If I get the opportunity part where you're saying it's an opportunity, you know, I get that part. But as fans, from a fanatic perspective, we can't accept that. Even, yes, we can understand. Look at what happened when...
But you know what then happens is, for me, if you notice my journey, when I left Dynamos, I didn't immediately get back to my allegiance, caps.
Okay.
Why? Because I had spent time with these players. You know, when you are in an institution, you know what they go through, you know the struggles. So for that time, I had this connection with the players that I had worked with. It's only when bit by bit they started leaving Dynamos, and now there's a whole sort of different breed. I'm not connected. But when I left, it was... You know, when you go to training and you're traveling with these people, you know what they're going through. Sometimes on shingirira guys, so I still felt a connection with them. Okay. But then when bit by bit, Jaura Asisiko, Antonio Asisiko, Selemane Asisiko, then now I was able to fully immerse myself back to being a Caps supporter. So, Ipapa, we're now moving on to my situations in my team. This time, okay. Simba Boraba weekend.
Yvonne.
Relegation zone. You are facing the champions. And for Caps, Asma, it's not only Simba Bora. Muchiva Simba, mwena umos. Mwena uchikeni. But last game you made last game when weeping voice. Continuous a weeper. Murumona say fixture every weekend.
When it comes to soccer, Nema teams are in Premier. Let's say we are saying it's a walk off. Akuna team in Premier shit.
But Sirikuti Akuna shit, but yeah, in a 10 points in 20 something games. I just could release a given. But Sirikuti, when you look at it on paper, you will find good. You're not going to tell mates with at least Pakwetika 103, Paningitika 103. But when you look at Simba, 1, Yagare Hugona, and it's Iruto. 2, Yagato Vahuda say. Kujigiwa zvinorwadza kuSwaziland. Samurona say game repa weekend.
Game repa weekend iduro dai. Unzisisa Yvonne. Tikutoda win, Simba kutoda win. Saka it's our best results and now to compare to the boys is a draw.
But draw doesn't do justice to the team. At least it's 1 point.
At least it's 1 point. But
it makes sense in the context if you look at the 5 fixtures. At least pamajgi pakawoma mkaona droga panenge pakaitira zvinenge zviri nani muonaochi 3 points apo I think it makes it realistically a win. I think is a bonus, a big bonus for Caps because tambira isimba bora.
Well, I
and Simba kushamba.
But in any Caps United, I associate it with being Kingslayers. Caps ndopa I know dai papo. Muganya ayo Caps United ndosa United. Remember?
I understand. FC
Saka this could be it for Caps United as well. Caps United comes home in games like this. Unomo isibairo tokunato shamisika takutona Scotland iriyo yakutogwina chini. Inonzi Caps yatorova Simba.
So how do you see this from outside Caps Simba Bora?
I think Caps is going to win. Because when it comes to Caps United, they hunt for goals, not for draws. When they go to Simba Bora, I know they're going to do something better. Because they now know that Simba Bora, vane hasha, so they will come over even they are prepared. They are well prepared for this match. Let's not take it lightly or let's not take it for a draw. Caps United might shock us.
It might shock us.
I'm telling you.
I would rather be shocked, but not expect too much because I feel like she's saying a draw is realistic. Kujigiwa is pessimistic for a fan. You can't say to Kujigiwa. But a win will be a bonus.
Exactly.
And then for you You are also Highlanders is low key also in the relegation mix. Looks like he's in a better position, but anything can happen. You have rentals. What I wanted to say, guys, you have rentals that plays in the first half, and then in the second half they just decide we want to just relax on the turf.
Okay, as of relegation zone, like you are saying, that Highlanders is on relegation zone. If we look at the log standing, we can see that it's not Highlanders only. ZPC Kariba, Herentals going to the bottom.
Yes,
they are all not sure, not safe, because any team that has,
I think from Highlanders going down,
yes, and below, they are not safe. We are all not safe. So this coming weekend, we expect a win. I'm just praying that my guys do what you did in Kariba versus Herentals. And I'm praying for my team to work very hard, because we don't want a lose. If we lose, it must be a draw. It must be a draw. Not a total loser, no.
Yo, Tambirai, look at the situation in the league this season. It's exciting if you're looking at it from an outside perspective in terms of you literally have 8-9 teams that could go down. Yeah. I think the only team at the moment that is certain is obviously Kwekwe. But the other 3 slots could be anyone from anywhere. And it's also a season where we have the 3 big guns all up for relegation. But 3 guns out. Prediction wise, who is in a better position and who looks like they are going?
Well, we can't say Dynamos, because look at Dynamos. They just started winning and they are in amazing form, and the confidence, the energy they have. So for me, I feel like Dynamos has already done its part in terms of surviving relegation. Winning the Harare Derby for them was it. They have the confidence. I don't see them going down there. With Caps United now, Caps United is scary, because Caps United will stick at 28 points for like a month. They don't show any sort of like consistent. They
will beat a big team, and then next week they get beaten by a small team.
They will stick to points for a month. They collect a couple, and we're like, oh my goodness, that could be something, and then we're back to it again. So for me, Caps United, it's extremely scary, but I don't really see a miracle happening at Caps.
I think the word is unpredictable in terms of you don't know which Caps United ichauya. Some fans mnoziero nasikuya ipi. Because like for example, I saw a crazy, disjointed, not exciting Caps United playing against Bikita Minerals at Gibo Stadium. Like it was so bad. Bikita looked like the Caps.
Exactly.
And Caps looked like Bikita.
Exactly.
Bikita were looking so amazing going forward. They looked solid. Then next thing, they're going to FC Platinum. I wrote them off. I said, the game again. But Caps
Exactly.
They come there. They're very different. One day, Ishmael Wadi anengachipisa unga mina. Next day, the other day, Tanaka Chandiro arupisa cannot benya arupisa. The next day, you're like, for you as a fan, how frustrating is it? Because it's like some games you're shown this is what we are capable of, and then some days it's like muskulotamba here, amuna motivation here, amuskuziya mamira akaita zvinhu here.
You know what, Yvonne? When it comes to us, Master as a Caps United, saying it myself, I'm so when it comes to Caps United. Saka, my players, I think, and this is all like kuti tiva motivate how kutaona kuti tinovada kuti we know these games like ipadeba, but they were in Mutara and did it for camping. Tabatete new sponsor the same week.
What 1.5
exactly. What do you expect from that? Tikudaka win. Tampeka nishungu kuti mu know that bonus is 1.5. For a person 1.5 is too much. But what happened?
And which is kind of weird, because you then look on the other side at Dynamos and you're thinking, even when they're at the rock bottom, right? But for example, right now to the team Chibuku Super Cup signed my penalty in Dimbare boss Dimbare engaged order. Money game and and even the previous 2 seasons, even if they were doing badly in the league, they've somehow magically been able to get Chibuku Super Cup. And then you've got a team like Caps. It's Zango Wandangariro Zekuti Yangari the Cup Kings.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shaisa Mufaro for most of the time. Maybe don't get Shaiswam.
Yeah.
So Lindway, I cross to you. Like when you look and you compare with Caps, what would you say Highlanders' performance has been this season? Like, is it as frustrating as Caps, or at least for Highlanders, you know what you're going to get?
They are not that far different. They are so close because it's frustrating. At times we win, at times we draw, or we lose. So this season, it's a do or die.
It's a do or die. And then, like the same question I asked Tambirai, of the 3 teams, who do you think is most at risk of relegation between Highlanders, Caps, and Dynamos?
They are all at the same level. They are all at the same level because if you check, they differ with a few points. It's Highlanders 34, Caps United
Dynamos 32, Dynamos 32.
So we are at the same page. That's the truth.
But judging on form, who do you think will fall?
These teams are unpredictable, my sister.
But things change, guys, because you can see, I think for Dynamos, like nobody 2 months ago or 3 months ago, if you told people this is what's going to happen to Dynamos, looking at how they were performing, would have said never. And then one man comes in, and then all of a sudden it's like win. Between the other 2 teams, any of you optimistic that maybe you might reach that pitch where you just wake up and it's just bang, 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 bang?
It's an answer.
Guys, it's a bad season, hey?
It's a very bad season for the big teams, but we hope they all survive the relegation.
But you know what scares me more? Now I'm removing the journalist. I'm talking as Yvonne, like the person who likes Caps. Is this season is a reflection of, if you look at the log standings, it's a reflection of what's needed to be done in a year like 2025 for a team to do well. Because most of the teams are the moneyed, the organized, or whatever. But I just go better 2025, even if our teams escape relegation. 2026 kukuya banana maybe Sheshamo Hard Rock Ngombe ya Ora or whatever. Like it seems like Division 1 is going to provide even more competition. And unless these teams magically find a way to make it work, it will be the same story every season.
My worry actually is, what if we don't survive relegation? What if none of the 3 teams survive relegation? I don't see Dynamos, Highlanders, and Caps United coming back. I see an Amazulu situation. Exactly. I see a motor action situation. You know, I don't see these things happening. But we're just going to be in museums.
But no parukita argument, Ivan. I think the argument is based on hope. Because a lot of Dynamos, Caps, Highlanders supporters sort of, I don't know if I can call it now, but they will tell you with Ajite, Matimano with 0.
There's nothing like that. As long as the Premier Soccer League has marked on their log table the relegation teams, there's nothing like that.
But okay, fine. Without not saying it's your team or another team, don't mention. But don't you think if one of them drops down, it'll be a wake-up call for all 3 of them on how things need to work?
We pray on things drops down. We need each other. Highlanders, Dynamos, Caps United, we need each other.
Okay.
We need each other at this point in time.
I think the wake-up call was when you saw Scotland Moors come through to the league, and when you're a new team, we're expecting you to be where Kwekwe is.
But it didn't work. Even Boykos didn't wake.
No. So I'm saying that was the wake up call. So if they didn't wake up, then apana kumboti relegation will wake someone up.
Nah, but when we say about a wake up call, in terms of maybe true generalize my team 3.
Okay.
Because sometimes you will find Caps and in their situation, Caps is a bit easier because it's almost like it's owned by an individual. So it's very easy. That's why even the fans can be able to go to the individual and say, Mr. Janet, I forgot. But for the 2 teams, I find Highlanders has its issues, a lot of issues, but unless you dig deep, they're not on the surface. On the surface, they look like, they're trying, they're doing this, they're these things. Then there's Dynamo's the problem child, where you literally know even the fans saying we're not coming to the games did not work.
It did not work.
Vakatozosvika pakuona vega mafans kuti I think team inodonai ngatichidzokera tinosapota team yedu isabude muleague.
I think what's different now from then is now we have replacements for these teams.
But support base wise, you cannot replace the Dynamos. You cannot replace Highlanders. It will take forever.
Definitely we can't. But in terms of the structure of the league and everything, we look support-wise, look at what happened. We have supporters that were staunch Dynamo supporters that we now know that are in Scotland. So in terms, if Dynamos is relegated, that support base may just shift to Scotland and follow the guy that's there now.
But
so
I think really, I think it's a very small chunk. And the small chunk here yakatoenda kudara. Variko izozvo who are still here now will not move. Vari fiko vakatomove vakatanga kunoti kune pari kune chii kune
but it's just zvatinoita Yvonne kuti Zimbabwe kune World Cup and
have you seen Shabani Mine? They are in Division 1 for how many years?
Yes.
And Shabani Mine fans still go to Shabani Mine. Never mind the FC Platinum success. I gotta say, you will go Kumandawa, Kusnano Rwanda, go Kumaglas, Mudiwani Momo, Vanayo. So in my feeling is with these teams, even if they go down, there will be a small chunk that can move. The rest will be like Nwenda Nayo.
I used to move it throughout. For example, kana Zimbabwe isiko World Cup. Tese tingi supporter kana South kana Zambia kana
China.
You know what?
Yes. Are you going? Highlanders
My
Division 1.
Kumabuza will go with Highlanders. We will go with Highlanders. With Highlanders, Kumabuza.
I can't go with Scotland.
I can't go to another team.
I feel like
we are not contract supporters.
Like imagine for example for people in Harare, imagine a person who supports Dynamos or Caps supporting Scotland or Herentals or Yada or whatever. I don't think so, and I think that's the reason why, especially for teams in Harare, they've struggled to get a fan base. Teams like even Harare City, when they were beating people like crazy in the Chibuku Super Cup, even teams like unozoti Yada vanenge vatori vanhu vekuchurch or vari aligned kuchurch, Herentals unona vana vechikoro nevanhu vari aligned kuchikoro vari kushanda ikoko. So that is a reflection yekuti people just won't jump. I feel like, for me, maybe that's the reason why Machima angowedzera voice. Imagine if Diana was in D1. Imagine kwana ground iripi. Like I can't. It's difficult to imagine the Zimbabwe Premier Soccer League without
Dynamos
and Highlanders.
No,
these three teams. It won't be league.
But they dug their own graves, guys. They dug their own graves.
But then they
most of the times the referees killed our sport. We can discuss
but you can't blame the referees.
I don't care.
The teams are, for example, I'll give you an example. Harare Derby, you know, it was the refereeing was on point. And then also, like, I've gone to games where Hana bias. Like,
okay.
Have you ever been to a game where you're just like, this ref ask
yes.
But on the other side,
issue happened. Sorry.
And this kuti takabirirwa pagame rune Dimbane neCaps. Inini linesman wechikadzi I wasn't happy naye pane zvakaitika kuti goal rizo. Was it a corner or a goal kick that?
It was a corner. Let me answer that. It was definitely a corner because I also had the whole situation she's having. It was a corner because auntie raka blockwa nemunhu weCaps rikabuda, but kubuda kwaro kwanga kusina kunyasooneka zvakanaka na ref. But linesman akazviona.
But guys, makuta nitpicking. I'm sure that nitpicking is.
Linesman akazviona. That was a corner. That was a definite goal. But it was a con.
Ndakatopopotera linesman wechikadzi kuti mai ava
nezonaona game rescotland Scotland Queens neMoz Queens.
My head akapinda.
But even the first goal came from a situation like that where you're like, I make a decision and then crowd very reactive, I change a decision, and then the subsequent free kick go as well. But I'm saying good for me, when I looked at it, I didn't see bias. I saw Kutra. Like I don't know, maybe like where I just felt like we know
the Caps situation, the Derby situation, very good refereeing, very
but
good.
Everything else I thought it was but Panyaema ref. Now we can't go before we talk about situation iripo when it comes to my ref and people blaming it on Nyayadze. For example, Lindy, where you represent Highlanders, and for the longest time Highlanders has had a reputation when it comes to violent incidents. Never mind, but for some reason Van Varango on Highlanders. I'll give you an incident. I was at Mandawa Stadium. It was Highlanders versus FC Platinum, and then it started to rain. And then Highlanders supporters started leaving Kubei Kunogara usually to come. But immediately when people saw Highlanders fans coming, what's your immediate reaction? You think but in actual fact it wasn't that. And as a fan, as a Highlanders fan, are there certain times where you feel like you're just judged with its Highlanders? Highlanders, when you come, when you're in town, people are expecting there'll be violence because no Highlanders want violence.
Yeah, some they do think so, but we have worked out on that course. Monoma Harare, whenever we play in Harare, we do my road shows. Kuto Darika, the Harare teams. When we played Dynamo Scotland, Caps United, I think Caps United fans, you saw our road show.
Exactly.
We had a very big road show. And everyone was like, Ipo. This is one the mama yayo. So everyone now understands Kuti Highlanders comes in peace, not violent.
And this season you've been
even last season.
Yeah,
I think last season as well.
It's like after we heard
because even the day I'm talking about the song that I posted that you're leading, that was after a defeat and you guys were very happily living and going.
You know what, Yvonne? We had this PSL supporters leadership workshop. We were all there, the supporters leaders at PSL from all chapters at Mandel Training Center. We mixed, we talked, and we had taught a lot of things by Mr. Kenny Ndebele and then Kutsaibare and Mr. Mtonami. We had a lot of modules to go over, and that's when we started saying, guys, let's form a group for PSL supporters leadership. Okay. It's still there. We talk. If any team totiba netanam ground, they come to group, guys. Then team yakat gadzirisa ABCD. And we have found out that it's working properly. There is no violence. Even Kumata Enamos, you heard them saying the coffin has arrived from Highlanders.
From Highlanders, the coffin, to bury Scotland.
Supporting Dynamos.
But I also feel like the coming in of Scotland has brought unity between Highlanders, Dynamos, Caps, because all of a sudden it's like we've got this common enemy. We forget that we don't like each other. After they are gone, it's like Mumba nitika. Because name rumani ngachirwa. Pakayamienzi what a best behavior. Because I feel like that's what's happened where you're like we've got this common enemy. It can't beat any of us.
Yes.
It's also but we need to beat this enemy.
Yeah.
I think the other thing with Highlanders being peaceful and all is vagaroa panorwadza ni PSL. izvozvo kunzi munoitiswa mafine kunzi chakadai chaitika mubva mabhadhariswa mari moitwa disciplinary hearings and
But
all that stuff.
But it hasn't been effective though. I feel like my programs have been more effective
They're
because
programs.
the fines have been happening for the longest time. You know what say fine and gets ineffective. Fine I fine a club.
Okay.
So you as a fan who's gone into the ground, how we feeling?
All right.
So we once felt it because we
When you did the whole boycott, the boycott and you paid the fine. No, but that was not you feeling it. That was unity. Because the unity to say guys ta konzeresa. It's guys, it's been so exciting to have you on the show. It was something, it's an idea that I thought about. Like, why not just have three ladies come in the studio? We talk about football. I feel like it was so exciting to just be able to sit down and talk and body less stress, especially Zimbabwean Caps United. Mdikan. Shaka umagis.
Tetiriko.
Shamba.
Tetiriko. Chanda kungokurudzira vakomana vasatye Zimbabwe. Tiyanga iri kuSwaziland kuyachimirira nyika. Ngavatambe bhora ravo esibhora ravo ravajaira iroro. Ngavatambe vasaitye Zimbabwe kuti sezvo iri kuwadzanai stadium saka ameno idhoro dai ndakutonga a big prayer. Tidai vatinzwawo. Indochema Yvonne. Misodzi kuti chororo chaiko apa ndinenda ngachena.
This season ndofunga wambochema. And then imagine I zone out. Like I'll be watching a game, right? Like for example, when Dynamo scored, the rest of the game, my concentration level won't be the same way it was. Like I zone out. But my brain is just gone because like she was saying, with that game you knew whichever team scores, the other one is not coming back.
I mean, I'm one of the strongest. I'm Peli Moya. I love her.
Lindy, let me tell you one thing. Nindo garambari. And I'm well known to Amaya Babanos about that. And then still Ganza. Ndichienda kuground kuya. Vandoziva kuti amai ava. Kana ndazowa netimu yangu nchibva kuground usanditaudza.
Maiwe.
Usanditaudza. Tongondisiya because handisirini.
Lindy, what sort of post-game fan are you? Kana manchikiwa?
I remind myself because
it depends. It depends. I hope I'm saying it right. If he defeats Sportlight,
let me tell you one thing. It's very painful to be defeated. It once affected me a bit when Scotland beat us at Trofaro Stadium, but I wasn't that down. I was just my selfish. It don't shit, man. It's just like that. The next thing, I was drinking my beer, saying, let's go, guys. Next game, and then they came from behind. Sakois.
Me, I inintino nemoyo. Nemoyo, guys. Like literally, if in case you didn't know, if you ever sit next to me in the stands and my team is losing, you will see I zone out. Like I literally, the only thing that keeps me in the stadium is because I have to update people at home. But otherwise, Brenda Ngurato. Pfungwa dzangu dzaenda chatongochideme amene kana zvizvo zvinoita varoi kuti vanosiya bhodhi wowe ananzi unongochona pane munhu asi munhu aenda kukweko ndozvane maona chideme but pfungwa dzangu dzaye like that's how emotional I get very emotional.
And myself I don't get emotional. Highlanders kuthiwa Highlanders ibhoso ichila moya ihlezi yakuchila umoya. You must know that yakuchila umoya. So wena ungapheli.
Imele chila umoya lina mbetina abantu abadlala
Highlanders. Nakuchila nasilidile. Thina singadli uyasichila umoya. So you do know that.
How do you say? And they say ungapheli moya. How do you say wangu moya unopera?
Owami umoya uyaphela.
Wangu moya uyaphela. Uyaphela kakhulu. Thank you guys for being on the show. It was so exciting. It just felt like For a moment, I forgot we had cameras and it just felt like we were just talking. All the best for you against the Rentals, hoping that the Rentals in the second half decide to play. For you. Hi. Hi. Yo. Vapina zvawa chiti. Yagara ijaro wachete. Bakala ijaro wachete. But deep down, I hope you guys win. I hope, like we said, at the end of the day, what we want is Dynamo's, Caps, Highlanders to not get relegated.
Yes.
So any points they get, no offense, Simba, I have no problem with you, but Caps should win. No offense, the Rentals, but Highlanders should win. And the same thing about Dynamos as well, because I don't know what the league would look like. It's something that we've never had, and I don't think we want to experience a league without either Highlanders, Dynamos, or Caps United. Until the next time, hoping that you enjoyed our All Girls football chat. Goodbye.